Hey everybody, welcome into Farm Cooking with Nan today. Oh Lord, before I could even get on the camera, I think y'all need a little laugh. You go outside and your hair blows off the top of your head with this wonderful March madness wind. Then you come inside and get ready to set up my pole that holds my light. And about the time I lean forward, the light falls down on my head. And I thought, oh Lord, if they could just see behind the scenes what happens at my house just trying to get ready to do a video. Today we're going to be doing a cookie for Bella. Bella sent me a recipe and she said, Nan, you've got to try this. I have eaten crumble cookies from the factory, you know, from the place, crumble cookies, but I have only eaten maybe one or two. I didn't know really about the flavors. I've not really been up on that, but we're going to try a recipe that's supposed to be in the vicinity of the crumble strawberry cookie. This is a perfect moist strawberry supreme Duncan Hines cake mix. I'm gonna put this in here. Woo. Now I'm going by somebody else's recipe. Hang on a minute. I lost a little bit right there, and you know what? If you're lately, the way that our food has been for the last few years, you open up a box, and I've complained so many times about not having the right amount of ounces in there. But I'm going to tell you something. Today, I'm not going to add any cake replacement to this because I've never made this recipe before. And, you know, I think it is this recipe is calculated by a 15.25 ounce box of cake mix. So I'm not going to add anything else to it. I don't want to mess nothing up, okay? I'm going to put in 2 eggs. Hang on a minute. Didn't even think about what I was doing. Crack on the head and a crack in the eggs too. Oh mercy, what about it? They're very room temperature. Very room temperature. All my stuff was set out at least a couple hours ago because I wanted to know that that my stuff was good and ready and room temperature before I got started. Want to give these cookies every chance I can to be what Bella's hoping they'll be. Oh Lordy. Okay, and I've got 1 stick of butter that has been in the microwave, melted. 1 stick. I'm going to pour this in there, and I've let it sit there for a while just to let the butter cool down. I didn't want the butter to curdle my eggs or scramble my eggs. Okay. Now, I'm going to go by this recipe now, okay? 1 box of the cake mix, a 1/2 cup of melted butter, which is 1 stick of butter, and then 2 eggs. And we're going to mix this up. It's going to be a stiff batter. Well, I assumed it's going to be a stiff batter. I don't want to overbeat it. Just enough to make sure that it's all mixed. That's all I want. I'm not going to beat it a whole lot, okay? Now, I'm going to put this, stick my little stick down in there, and I'm going to cover it up with some plastic wrap. And I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it chill, because remember, my butter's warm. Well, it's just warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. But I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for about 20, 30 minutes and just let this dough chill, okay? And we'll be back. While we're waiting on our cookie dough to chill in the refrigerator, we are going to take about 3 tablespoons of butter. This is to make a little topping for the top, and I'm going to put a half a cup of all-purpose flour. It's been loosely put in there. And we'll put a 1/4 of a cup of just white sugar, and I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of good vanilla. Tried to get that out. I might need to save that. I might need it again for a second. But I'm just going to take this fork and mash this all together. That was softened butter. It wasn't, it wasn't hard butter or anything like that. That butter's been out on the counter. And we're making a little streusel type thing to go on the top. We're going to put this, I'm preheating my oven to 350. We're going to put it on a nice little pan and put it in there and let it bake for about, let it brown just for about 5-7 minutes, something like that. Takes a few minutes to work this flour into the butter. No big deal. It'll work. It just takes a little bit. Okay. We'll get us a pan and get it ready. Make sure I get all that flour up into that butter. Here, my oven. All I have to do is grab my little pan, and we're just going to brown it a little bit. Get back up there. Now, let me grab a little pan, and we'll be right back. I grabbed a little piece of, I'm going to have to clean this mess up. Oh, mercy. I grabbed a little piece of parchment paper. And I'm going to stir just a little bit more to make sure we don't have any huge clumps, and make sure everything's broke up in pieces. Then I'm going to spread it out onto this. I'm probably not going to use all this, but this is just a sweet little crumble that is going to go on the top of over my icing, you know. I'm going to crack up any great big pieces. And we're going to put this in there for about 5 to 7 minutes. So here we go. We're going to watch it. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and start our icing. I know that sounds a little odd, but I'm going to get all these things done up before I make my cookies, okay? So I've got 1.5 cups here of powdered sugar. I'm going to sift it again. You know, powdered sugar is already sifted, but this recipe called for an extra sifting, okay? 1.5 cups of sifted powdered sugar. Now I'm going to have a mess. We'll cut down on a little time by forcing that right through my little sifter here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put in a quarter of a cup. Wait just a second. I'm going to put in a pinch of salt. Pinch of salt. And I'm going to put in a quarter of a cup of, I'll show you what it is. I just use the Smucker's squeezable, any strawberry jam or jelly, a quarter of a cup. Quarter of a cup. I'm gonna put in a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Knew I was gonna have to use that again, didn't I? And then I'm gonna put in 1 stick of butter. It's already was room temperature, but I hit it on about 10 seconds just to make it a little bit softer. There we go. Now, so far I got 1 stick of softened butter, 1.5 cups of extra sifted powdered sugar. I've got 1/4 cup of strawberry jam and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to grab 1 extra little thing and get my mixer ready. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons. Let me grab my measure here. There's my tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. One. And 2. You might not think I should clean out that spoon, but you know what? When you're making icing, every little drop counts on the thickness of your icing or whatever. So, let me see if I can get this all down in there and we'll get started. Got our mixer here. Start out on low. Might have to add just a little bit more of the, yeah, I'm going to have to add just a little bit more probably of the heavy whipping cream, not much. Maybe not any. Let me check that consistency there. I think that'll do. So I'm going to do a little taste test here. It tastes good. I've got some fresh strawberries we're going to use on top of that too. I'll set that right there a minute. I don't want it to chill too much. It'll get to where it don't even want to come out of my little piping bag. And you know, y'all pray for me because piping bags, piping is just not my thing. I don't know. I struggle with, I don't know. I just struggle with it. Okay, it's time to check on my little, ooh, I hope I didn't overdo it. There's my crumble. And I'm just going to take another fork and I'm going to just sort of tear it up a little bit because let me show you what I'm doing. It's hard when you're making a cookie. It's got about 4 or 5 steps to it, you know. But you can see it came out, the butter sort of, look how the butter sort of crumbled and got it. So all you do is take your fork and just, you know, whack it up a little bit and get that in little pieces. Then we're just gonna let it be sure and put this on parchment paper to soak up any extra butter that comes out of this, okay? Now, I'm just gonna set this aside and let it cool. And then we're gonna start getting everything ready to make our cookies. We've gotten our batter out. Batter up. What did I do with my, there we go, my scoop. I'm gonna get that down off of there. We don't want to leave anything left behind, do we? And we'll save that. Now, I'm using a big old ice cream scoop. I don't know if that, I need something bigger. I think I'm gonna take, these are supposed to, crumble cookies are big cookies. And I'm gonna take this, that was about a scoop and a half. And then I'm gonna roll it. Now this is what the recipe called for. Like I said, I'm not used to crumble cookies. So, this is gonna make some great big cookies. I'm gonna have a mess here. This might just make about 4 or 5 cookies, I don't know. 4 cookies or something, I don't know. I think I'm gonna roll them out first before I... Now 1 cookie is big enough for, 1 cookie is big enough for 2 people to eat. I couldn't dare eat a cookie this big. Too big for old Nan here. Whoops. I'm gonna keep on till I cause a mess here. I might make the second bunch, I might make just a little bit smaller because I think I'd have to share one with somebody. Okay, let's get 4 in here. And just let those cook, and you know, those, they ain't cooking, they're baking. Let me wash my hands. I put some parchment paper under them because I don't want them to be I don't want them to be light on the bottom, but I don't want them to be too dark too. So I think that parchment paper will give me just the right amount. So let's get them in a 350-degree oven. We'll check them at about 10 minutes, okay? 17. And we'll be back. I just chopped up about 3. There's only about 8 cookies. And I'm going to take about a ½ teaspoon of sugar and sprinkle on those. It'll bring the juices out of them a little bit. So I'm just going to set those to the side, okay? We've had our, sorry, I got so hot, I thought I was going to die in here. It's just too hot, too hot. I've got my, let's see. I want my cookies to be just a little bit brown around the edge and softer in the center. It's going to take more than 10 minutes. First time I've ever left a cookie in for 20 minutes. These were left in 20 minutes, and I'm let them set out on the pan for about 10 minutes. These are big cookies, huh? Like I said, I've never, let's see what the bottoms, a little brown. I've got 4 more. This recipe, if you make them this big, which are huge, this recipe makes about 8 cookies. Those, I put in 4 more back in the oven, and they are, they're a little bit smaller. So I made 4 that was huge and 4 that was a little bit smaller. So we're going to, after these finish, I'm gonna let them all cool totally cool before I put any icing or anything else on them. So it's hard for me to judge if they really taste like the crumble cookies, and because I've never had the crumble cookies, but Bella has. So we'll see how that goes. Whenever she comes, she can try them out. So I'll walk y'all through the rest of what I'm doing, okay? Okay, I've got the icing on all of them. They're not the prettiest. I told you I'm not good with icing. I just piped it on there in a piping bag. Just used a piping bag like this. Put it down into my cup and pull the edges over, over my cup on the outside like this. Put my icing down in there. Pulled it out, went down close to the edge, cut a straight thing just to make a fat icing, and I had some extra and just piled it on top. But I'm going to put just a little bit of fresh strawberries right on top. And Bella, I'm telling you, learn from my mistakes, okay? Do not bake them as long as I did. Do not. I would say 15 minutes is a lot, because I can tell they're a little hard because I've had to let them totally cool too. But you just want them to be chewy. You want them to be chewy. I lost a strawberry right there. My mouth is watering from these strawberries. My back. Sometimes I just push till I don't know when to stop. Okay, let's see. We need a few more on this one. The big the big cookies, just don't over bake them. As soon as they start to get a little firm around the edges, you want them to be soft on the inside. And so these were definitely over baked, but they'll still be good. They're edible. We're not perfect. This is just life. You learn. And the next time, if I ever try a strawberry recipe like this again, for cookies, I will definitely do it from scratch. I'll try it from scratch. Now, we're going to take our, let me lean up on this just a minute with my back, okay? And I'm going to take, I'm going to take this crumble over here, the crumble that I made. I'm just going to crumble it up a little bit. Even if they do not taste one bit like whatever the crumble cookies taste like, I can't imagine these not being good. Just like I said, bake them a little less time to where if you like them chewier or if you like them firm, do that. This will really make a nice little cookie. I might try them out before Bella gets here. This crumble is just not over sweet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna mash that down a little bit, because that's a big old cookie. And I'm sorry this video is long, but look how many things we made. We did the cookie, we did the baking of the cookie, we did the crumble, we did the icing, we did the fresh strawberries. So I'll be putting these in an airtight container and probably sending them home with Bella. Might save Papa one or two. I want to get a good picture, clean up this mess, and we'll be back. I took a couple of pictures. I hope you all can see. They might not be crumble. Oh, Lordy. Might not be crumble, but Nanny is going to take a good old bite, okay? Uh-oh. Let me get my crumble up there. Thank you, Lord. I want you to know. Those are delicious. Even if I felt like that I over-baked them, they are soft on the inside. They're not chewy, they're soft. So I was thinking I had maybe really overbaked them. But these are wonderful. Very wonderful. Well, listen, I'm going to go. I know I'm going to be Bella's favorite Nan today. She's been wanting these. I even told her, I said, Lord, I need some things from the supermarket if you want me to make this. This week we're probably going to do a few desserts because I think Pop will really like this. And he's going to be working this week, so that'll give him a little treat to take with him. But listen, I don't want to drag this out. I just want to tell y'all that I love you so very much. I hope you get a chance to make these, really. They are worth the time. If there's a couple of y'all, you know, you and your daughter or granddaughter, whatever, working in the kitchen, let her work on the icing while and they're not overly sweet. So, you know, let her work on the icing while you're putting the cake mix together, or let her, you know, vice versa, and it will be much easier. Things tire me out very quickly. So today's video was a big video, for me. So listen, I love y'all. I really love y'all, and I appreciate everything, every sweet comment, everything that you all do for me. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I want you to know I love you so very much, and that the Lord loves you. He loves you so very much. He loves you more than any human being or anything on this earth. He loves you that much. And I want you to know that he's right there with you, okay? If today's a rough day, you know, the Bible says this too shall pass. So tomorrow will be a better day, okay? We just have to put our trust in the Lord. Well, I will see you next time. Lord willing, okay? If it's his will, we'll be back together. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.